this. I don't have my glasses on. I had the eye surgery, and it's. Yeah, so I think there's a spot there. Yep, perfect. Tout le monde est prêt? Everyone ready? Well, good afternoon, everyone. Bon après-midi, mesdames et messieurs, et bienvenue. Merci d'accepter notre invitation cet après-midi. On behalf of my colleagues in Ottawa City Council, and Matt Fleury is somewhere here. There he is, over there, Councillor for Rideau Vanier. It's my pleasure to be here today to celebrate the start of the operation of the city's Combined Sewage Storage Tunnel. This is an important project for our city, an investment that will significantly reduce sewage flowing into the Ottawa River to preserve its health and vitality for present and future generations. I appreciate the opportunity to highlight and celebrate this incredible milestone, one that strengthens Ottawa's position as a world leader in environmental protection through the control of combined sewage overflows. I want to thank everyone for being here today and for continuing to follow public health guidelines by wearing masks and by maintaining physical distance when possible. Je vous remercie d'être ici aujourd'hui et de continuer à suivre les consignes de santé publique en portant le masque et en maintenant une distance physique avec les autres lorsque cela est possible. Ottawa est bâti sur le territoire non cédé de la nation algonquine Anishinaabe. Les peuples de la nation algonquine Anishinaabe vivent dans ce lieu depuis les millénaires. Leur culture et leur présence l'ont imprégné et l'imprègnent encore, and the City of Ottawa honors the people of the land of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. Nations, Inuit and Métis people, their elders, their ancestors, and their valuable past and present contributions to this land. Now, this is an exciting day for us in the City of Ottawa, and we're pleased to announce that the Combined Sewage Storage Tunnel, CSST as we call it, is now in operation. Aujourd'hui est une journée marquante pour nous tous et nous sommes ravis d'annoncer que le tunnel de stockage des égouts unitaire est maintenant en service. This massive project was a partnership with the federal and provincial governments, funding in 2016, and Dragus Tomlinson joint venture was selected as the construction team to build the tunnel and related infrastructure. In these difficult times, cooperation between all three orders of government is critical to protecting the health and well-being of our citizens. Today, we're very pleased to be joined by the Honourable Catherine McKenna, Minister of Infrastructure and Communities, who is the MP for this riding, and former Minister of Environment and Climate Change. I'm also very pleased to welcome the Honourable Lisa MacLeod, Minister of Heritage, Sport, Tourism and Cultural Industries, the best portfolio, I think, in government. And I know Scott Moffat was to be here, the chair of our Environment Committee. I mentioned Mathieu is here, representatives of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. I don't know if Bob Manette is here. Bob plays a special role in this whole history of this project because he was the one that first discovered the challenges of sewage seeping into the Ottawa River, and we thank Bob for his stewardship. Elizabeth Logue, Ottawa Riverkeeper, and Meredith Brown, Ottawa Riverkeeper Emeritus. I don't know if they're here. Oh, there she is. Hello, Elizabeth. Steve Willis, General Manager of Planning, Infrastructure and Economic Development. Alain Gauthier. This has been Alain's baby for a long time. He deserves a big round of applause. Alain, thank you. And I know I'm missing all sorts of other people, our folks from the City of Ottawa staff who worked on this project. They really put their heart and soul into this project for many, many years. And while we get to celebrate and clip the ribbon, they are the ones who we are indebted to for their professionalism and their passion for this particular project. Also, I want to thank the folks from Stantec, Jacobs, and Dragodos and Tomlinson. I want to thank our Ottawa Riverkeeper, both past and present, and the many environmental stewards, community leaders, and partners who supported this important project. Je tiens à remercier les gardes rivières des Outaouais et les nombreux gardiens de l'environnement. The CSST was championed by Minister McKenna, who announced federal funding for the project 4 years ago. This is one of the most important projects of the Ottawa River Action Plan, the City of Ottawa's roadmap for protecting the health and vitality of the Ottawa River. And we know how important the Ottawa River is to our community. It's the source of our drinking water, it's the source of great enjoyment on our beaches and people going fishing and the like. This engineering marvel includes 2 interconnected tunnels totaling 6.2 kilometers, as well as 15 underground chambers and access shafts and 4 odor control facilities like the one behind me. The CSST will capture and allow proper treatment of surface runoff and wastewater that would otherwise flow untreated into the Ottawa River during very wet weather. Just to put this in perspective, I probably oversimplify it, but the challenge we have is often every time there's a big rainstorm, the beaches are closed. Well, the beaches are closed because we don't have the capacity in the treatment plant to treat the water that has been tainted with everything from dog feces to oil to windshield washer fluid in our catch basins. And so when there's a heavy rainfall, these storage tanks are going to store the water, and when there's capacity at the treatment plant, they're going to go and treat the water and send it as clean water right into the Ottawa River. So the City of Ottawa is committed to $108 million to the project, and the Government of Canada and Ontario each provided $62 million. Infrastructure investments are vital to creating jobs, as we all know, strengthening the middle class, and building more inclusive and healthy communities. Ottawa's Combined Sewage Storage Tunnel won't just help protect our precious Ottawa River. It's also been designed to parallel existing downtown sewers so that wastewater can be safely diverted for better inspection and maintenance of critical underground infrastructure. Further, the CSST will help reduce basement flooding for some downtown neighborhoods and allow more people to enjoy our beautiful beaches on a regular basis, so we'll see the number of beach closures reduce significantly. This is a great example when all three levels of government work together. C'est un bon exemplaire quand les trois paliers du gouvernement travaillent ensemble. I'd like to thank Minister McKenna, Minister MacLeod, and all of our federal and provincial partners. Without their unwavering support and the dedicated work by my council colleagues, we would not be here today. I also want to point out David Chernyshenko, the former chair of Environment, worked very hard on this project as well, and they all deserve our sincere appreciation. As I mentioned earlier, I want to thank Alain Gauthier, project manager Ziad Gadman. Is Ziad here? He worked on this project a long time. And of course, all of our city staff who supervised the project to ensure that it came in on time. So it's now my pleasure to ask the representative from the federal government, the Honourable Catherine McKenna, to say a few words. Minister.
Thank you. Well, what a great announcement. I'm so excited. When you say Combined Sewage Storage Tunnel, it doesn't really capture it, but I think I'll talk a little bit more about the importance of this project. Thank you very much, Mayor Watson. It's always a pleasure working with you on all these projects. To Minister MacLeod, partnerships between levels of government are extraordinarily important in getting good infrastructure built. To Alain and the team, this is it. You must be very excited that this is now happening. Oh, Mathieu, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. Mathieu Fleury, who cares greatly about the environment. And of course, Elizabeth and the Ottawa Riverkeeper. I have you guys in my heart because you guys do a lot of work, a lot of hard work, including through a lot of volunteers to keep the Ottawa River clean. I also want to recognize that we're on the traditional territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe peoples. And in my office, I have a 100-year-old Algonquin birch bark canoe. And it's a reminder to me, on loan from the Canoe Museum, I should say, but it's a reminder to me about, one, the role of Indigenous peoples right here in this area, the obligation that we have to partner with Indigenous peoples, and also the critical importance of the Ottawa River to our community. It's great to be able to join you here today. It's obviously an extremely challenging time for all of us. We know we need to tackle the health pandemic. And I know everyone's working really hard to do that, so keep it up. But we also have an economic crisis. We need to be building good infrastructure. That's creating good jobs, but it's also building a cleaner, more sustainable and more inclusive future. Comme vous le savez, nous rouvrons progressivement notre économie car nous apprenons tous à faire face à cette nouvelle réalité en toute sécurité. Collectivement, grâce aux efforts de millions de Canadiens, nous avons fait des progrès à travers cette pandémie, mais nous sommes encore en train de nous adapter au nouveau monde dans lequel nous nous trouvons. So when we talk about the economy and creating good jobs, I think of infrastructure. We've adapted our program to reflect that we are in a pandemic and an economic crisis. Just in early August, I announced that we're adapting our infrastructure program to speed up project approvals, open up more kinds of projects for funding, and offer a bigger federal share. We're doing this through the COVID-19 resilience stream that is earmarked up to $3.3 billion in federal funding. That's $1 billion right here in Ontario, with the federal government paying 80 cents of every dollar invested. We're also bringing in the Canada Healthy Communities Initiative. So for any folks that are listening, this is a great initiative that will directly fund small, locally developed projects that can have a really big impact in dealing with some of the impacts of the pandemic. That's everything from pop-up bike lanes, more welcoming outdoor spaces, community gardens, public Wi-Fi, better apps for local markets. This fall, I was very happy to also announce an investment of $7.8 million to Project Learning Tree, a local organization in Ottawa Centres providing green opportunities to youth who face barriers to employment. We're doing this through our government's YES program, and I was delighted to meet some of the young conservationists and hear about the critical work they are doing to protect and preserve nature. And they've been focused also on making sure our waters and rivers are clean. We need to look forward to build up and do it in a way that makes our communities more livable, cleaner, and more resilient, and more sustainable places to live and work and raise our families. That's why it's such a great day to be here celebrating the start of the operation for the Combined Sewage Storage Tunnel. As I put it, we need to protect the health of the Ottawa River to swim, drink, fish. Although I may have borrowed that from the Ottawa Riverkeeper. $1 million in this project, working with the city and the province, that will reduce sewage overflows into the Ottawa River during severe weather that is made more severe by the impacts of climate change. This will greatly reduce flooding for thousands of homes in Ottawa, but it will mean that we will have cleaner water. Canada's infrastructure plan invests in thousands of projects, creates jobs across the country, and builds cleaner, more inclusive communities, and this project strikes very close to home. C'est pourquoi c'est un jour très important pour être ici et célébrer la mise en opération du tunnel de stockage des égouts unitaires. Nous devons protéger la santé de la rivière des Outaouais pour pouvoir y nager, boire et pêcher. Le gouvernement du Canada a investi plus de 62 millions de dollars dans ce projet qui permettra de réduire des débordements d'eaux usées dans la rivière des Outaouais en cas de mauvais temps. Mauvais temps qui arrive beaucoup plus avec les changements climatiques. When this project got underway in 2016, I was there for the announcement, very pleased that our government was able to step up, and it's really great to see it begin its operations. When it rains hard, this combined sewage tunnel can hold up to 18 Olympic-sized swimming pools worth of surface runoff and wastewater. I'm a swimmer, so think about that. 18 Olympic-sized pools. That's a lot. That's 43,000 cubic meters of dirty water that otherwise would have gone straight into the river every time there's a significant storm. And we've seen significant storms. We've seen the impacts and devastation of flooding that's caused our city, that's caused different parts of our city. And of course, I want to give a shout out to many of my other members of the Ottawa caucus who aren't able to be here, but who also care greatly about the river. I just want to end by saying that when we make investments in infrastructure, I make sure that we get triple benefits. We have to stretch every dollar, every taxpayer dollar, to make sure that we get the best outcomes possible. When I think about this project, this is a perfect example. One, it is creating good jobs across the city. It helps with our supply chain, with businesses, and it's growing our economy while we need it in a pandemic. Two, it's protecting the environment and helping us tackle climate change. Yesterday, we announced that we are committed to being net zero. We brought in legislation, so by 2050, we will emit zero emissions in Canada. And I think that's incredibly important. And it's projects like this that recognize that the impacts of climate change are real and we need to adapt right now. And three, it's about building more inclusive communities, that we need to be making sure that everyone has access to nature. A lot of people live in residences where they don't have private nature. Making sure that they can get out to our beaches, can get in a safe way, in a clean way, is incredibly important to building inclusive communities. This is how infrastructure investments can make a real difference in people's lives now, but also going into the future. Thank you very much. Merci.
Well, thank you very much, Catherine. Merci beaucoup, Catherine. Now, my pleasure to ask the Honourable Lisa MacLeod. Lisa probably heard about this project the first time when she was working at City Hall, because it goes back a fairly long period of time. That wasn't an ageism thing. I think you're still the youngest cabinet minister. Yeah, right. I'm still the youngest mayor of Ottawa. Lisa worked at City Hall with our friend Jan Harder, and this, as I mentioned, Bob Monette's connection with all of this. We could write a spy novel about it, finding out why these grates weren't working and so on. It was part of the overall Ottawa River Action Plan. And today we celebrate this very important aspect of the plan, and we're very grateful to the province of Ontario for being partners with the federal government. So please welcome the Honourable Lisa MacLeod.
Thanks, hon. Thank you very much, Mayor Watson, and thank you as well, Minister McKenna. It's wonderful to be here today with Councillor Fleury and all of you, and I was really happy that you brought up Bob Monette, because this has been a long-standing issue in the City of Ottawa, and I think today the fact that we are able to officially open this is tremendous news. I'm very pleased to be here today on behalf of my colleague, the Honourable Laurie Scott, the Minister of Infrastructure for our province, and I have to say, my staff in Toronto, our announcements typically are about culture or museums. Last week I was with the Premier at the War Memorial, and so they weren't quite sure if I wanted to do a sewage announcement, and I was adamant that I be part of it. One is because of the great long story of trying to achieve this and looking at it as a great thing for the City of Ottawa as a proud MPP from the nation's capital. But there is a ties here to heritage, sport, tourism, and culture. And you think of the history of the Ottawa River. You think of how important it has been for generations upon generations in the makeup of this city, and you think as well the number of people who love to kayak and canoe on the Ottawa River, as I do in the summer, and then of course, as the Mayor mentioned, the people who love the beaches around these communities. And it really does speak to not only sport but also tourism. So I think it's actually a fitting tie-in today that I'm able to do this on behalf of my colleague, and I'm absolutely committed to seeing this through. So I think today obviously is a great day for the nation's capital. The newly operating Combined Sewage Storage Tunnel will significantly reduce sewage overflows to the Ottawa River. It will also reduce the risk of basement flooding for about 7,000 residential properties. This is critical infrastructure for a great number of communities across the national capital. And the Ontario government is proud to have committed $62 million to this project. We're committed to protecting the health and well-being of our communities while ensuring that the water resources in our city are safeguarded for generations to come. The Ontario government is investing in several new and innovative wastewater and stormwater programs. We're investing $15 million over the next 2 years for municipalities to improve the management of Lake Ontario wastewater and stormwater discharges. We're also providing $10 million to support wastewater monitoring to improve transparency around the monitoring and the public reporting of any sewage overflows or bypasses from the municipal systems into our Great Lakes. And we're investing $12 million over the next 2 years to establish a pilot for detecting COVID-19 in raw wastewater, which could provide an early warning of COVID-19 outbreaks. We're also supporting many projects through the Green Infrastructure Stream that Minister McKenna just announced of the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. This stream supports the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, enables the development of more resilient infrastructure, and ensures communities can provide clean air and safe drinking water for the people of Ontario. Through the Green Infrastructure Stream, approximately $200 million in provincial and federal funding was allocated for communities with populations under 100,000, including municipalities, First Nations, and other partners. This intake focused on critical health and safety projects to improve water, wastewater, and stormwater. infrastructure while driving economic growth in communities across our great province. Today's announcement is another great example of the achievements being made possible through our ongoing partnership with our federal colleagues as well as our partnership with the City of Ottawa. I look forward to continuing working with you to help build better infrastructure during these unprecedented times as we respond to and recover from the impacts of COVID-19. For Ontario to recover, we need strong, sustained economic growth. And we need to start that recovery work now. And that's why it's important as we move toward a tourism strategy for Ontario that Ottawa will be very much a part of that as our gateway city along with the City of Toronto. We will also ensure that we are having waterway trails that support our lakes and our rivers and encourage more tourism across the province. And we are committing to supporting infrastructure projects across the province like the one we're celebrating today as part of our recovery efforts. To ensure our province is able to come back stronger than ever before. Let's continue working together to build a brighter future as we lay a groundwork for a strong economic and social recovery and for a stronger and more prosperous Ontario post-COVID-19. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Minister MacLeod. So the CSST is now in operation, but some final reinstatement work continues at surface construction locations across the city, including Sandy Hill, New Edinburgh, Centretown, and the Glebe. Now, I'm going to ask the two ministers to join me. We're going to do a ribbon cutting. Then we're going to ask everyone who had an involvement in the project to come up to take a group photo, and then we'd be happy to take questions from members of the media. Alors, on va faire une photo avec les deux ministres et moi. Après ça, une photo pour toute la gang ici, et après ça, des questions.
I think we tried to take one ourselves. It's just so nice.
All right. Lisa, you ready? Well, I gotta get my mask on. A minute.
The imagine it was huge.
All right, here we go. Before and after. 1, 2, 3. So, come on in, Alain and Steve. Anyone who had anything to do with the project? We're going to get a big group shot here, physically distancing. Oh, well, we'll do it here, that's fine. Steve, you're always in the back row.
Alain,
Proud of the project. Liam?
I feel like we definitely have to do like something like this.
yeah, let's split geographically up and down here.
Yes. Yes, open it.
Yeah, I think this is okay.
Put your arms like this. If you're touching, you got to move.
Light.
We won't do jumping jacks.
Okay, we all set? Look at those people up there. Hello.
I guess it doesn't matter whether you're smiling or not.
You see it in your eyes. You see it in your eyes.
All right, over there, Phil.
Everybody say CSST.
Alain.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, here, you come in the middle here. Right here, come in the middle. There, come on, I'll back you up here. Okay, here we go. Great. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, congratulations.
So we'll ask the ministers and Alain to come up here. Alain will take all the tough questions. Alors, c'est le temps pour des questions. Si vous avez des questions, les deux ministres sont disponibles, moi-même et Alain Gauthier, qui est le de personne à la ville qui est responsable pour ce projet. So, oui, mais Bob a trouvé un problème avec le système, c'est pas le mot en français, the grates. Alain va expliquer ça mieux que moi, le rôle de Bob Monet quand il a découvert le problème dans l'Est. Est-ce que tu connais cette histoire? Oui. J'ai invité Bob, malheureusement, il n'est pas capable de participer aujourd'hui.
Ce qui avait été identifié à l'automne, c'est avec une des vannes qui était restée bloquée, qui ne fonctionnait pas bien, qui laissait des déversements à la rivière. Ça fait que c'était lors d'une des visites qu'il y avait eu de la station d'épuration.
Et certainement, je dois dire que Bob est une championne pour ce projet. Il a aidé avec les négociations de trouver des partenariats avec le gouvernement de l'Ontario et Canada. Et certainement, il est un grand porte-parole pour encourager la ville de participer à ce projet très important pour l'environnement et pour la rivière Ottawa.
One of the user who wants to chime in on this. Just across the river, we have the city of Gatineau, who's, I think, working on these similar issues, but they're still catching up, obviously, with this facility opening today. But do you wish that the city and the Quebec government would speed up the process to make it more, make it Sorry.
En français ou bien en anglais? Probably it's a little easier for me in English, but je peux faire en français aussi. En français, OK. Alors c'est sûr que notre gouvernement, nous faisons des investissements historiques dans l'infrastructure verte autour du pays. Quand on regarde la rivière des Outaouais, les gens habitent, ils travaillent et jouent des deux côtés de la rivière des Outaouais. Alors, on doit faire certain qu'on travaille ensemble. C'est sûr, la rivière ne connaît pas vraiment de bornes. Alors, s'il y a des problèmes d'un côté, c'est un problème pour l'autre côté. L'investissement ici est historique et tellement important et on est toujours là pour travailler avec le gouvernement du Québec. On a fait beaucoup d'investissements dans l'infrastructure verte, dans les eaux usées et je sais que c'est un enjeu très important pour mes collègues fédéraux dans le caucus du capital national régional qui habite à Gatineau.
Puis, parlant d'investissement, pas plus tard que la semaine passée, à la Ville d'Ottawa, on a parlé du projet de tramway de la Ville de Gatineau. Vous avez supporté l'option de la boucle. Est-ce que vous partagez la vision du maire de Gatineau qui souligne que le projet qui se soumettait jusqu'à maintenant peut être vu comme phase 1 de cette boucle?
Alors, comme j'ai dit, mais les gens d'Ottawa, de Gatineau, ils travaillent, jouent, ils habitent des deux côtés de la rivière des Outaouais. C'est pourquoi on dit que c'est la capitale nationale régionale ici. Et on a besoin de bons transports en commun des deux côtés. Je pense on a fait beaucoup d'investissements où nous voyons ici à Ottawa, nous avons fait des investissements. Je sais que c'est un projet très important pour le tramway. C'est un projet très important pour le maire de Gatineau et pour mes collègues fédéraux. Et on travaille maintenant avec la ville de Gatineau. J'entends qu'on va avoir un plan d'affaires dans le printemps. Alors, c'est sûr que moi, je dois être conscient, c'est l'argent des comptables qui a fait bâtir des infrastructures. Et je sais, c'est aussi important de regarder ça comme un tout. Comment ça va lier avec Ottawa. Alors, une décision de la Ville cette semaine, je pense que c'était une bonne décision que le tramway pourrait venir ici. Alors, moi, je suis tellement intéressée. Moi, je pense que le transport en commun est vraiment important. Alors, on y avance.
C'est tout? Bon, merci.
Merci.
Alors, excusez-moi, merci beaucoup, Madame McLeod. Merci beaucoup, Madame, excuse me, McKenna. Et merci à les membres du média, le personnel de la Ville d'Ottawa et des partenariats comme le Ottawa Riverkeeper et des autres qui travaillent sur ce projet historique ici à la Ville d'Ottawa. Have a great weekend. Enjoy this beautiful weather, and thank you all for coming. Merci. There we go. Elbow.
It is actually very warm.
Yeah, I know. This is balmy. It's great.